Hello, it is day 10. How are we doing? So, today is one of my favorite things to talk about, and I feel like this is one of my strong skill sets is when my clients come and talk to me. I listen to them and I dig and ask certain questions because I'm trying to get them to get to the root of the vicious cycle of what keeps creating this same pattern over and over and over again. And then once we identify it and we do the work to remove it, then all of a sudden anything that was attached to that particular thing starts to crash, and you start to question, like, wait a minute, why do I do that? Why do I like this? Why did I keep doing this? Why do I? And then you start to sit back like, wait a minute, it was all because of that. And I as I say, like, one of the things that I can see is like what ends up happening is once I'm listening and all the information is computing, it's like I can close my eyes and boom, I can see every type of cycle that goes together within a matter of minutes. And then I'm able to take you through that journey to let you see how this one thing impacts and how you say things, how it truly impacts your life. And it is amazing to observe when the client is seeing this, like, to observe it is just phenomenal. And so today, for me to be able to talk to each of you about certain patterns that you may be doing that you don't even realize that you're doing, like when we talked about other things within this class, like, for example, like, one of the things I think I told you guys that I have been battling was the way I perceived it to be was mismanagement. Like, my life was so chaotic that I struggled with managing things. And what would happen is I would just keep taking on everything because I had OCD. So I thought, but it was my way to feel like I could be in control of things. But at the same time, I knew that as long as I was trying to do everything, then I would always be needed. And then as long as I was needed, that would fight my abandonment issue. And you're just sitting here like, whoa, that was a lot. And then you start to see how that keeps intertwining, and what it all kept coming back and stemming back to was a few things, but consistency and structure and discipline was one of those things. But at that time, I had ADHD. I was too busy juggling too many fires. I didn't have time to create structure, and I just trusted things were being done because why wouldn't they be, right? Like, why would it be done perfect when you haven't put in any processes to ensure things were not slipping through the crack? And so that was just life in general for me. And so now I can say, well, that was definitely some mismanagement. But I can also sit here and say, but it might have been mismanagement, but it wasn't, I wasn't able to see that because I'd never seen what management looked like. I'd never seen what true structure was. So it wasn't that I was mismanaging, it was that I just didn't know any different. I didn't know better. It's one thing to mismanage and you know better. It's another thing to mismanage and not have a clue that that's what was going on. So, with that being said, I want you to kind of think about some of the things that you think are patterns. Reflect back on your life and say, okay, what are some things that are going on in my life that keeps repeating themselves? Like, what do I keep seeing? Like if you keep dating the same type of person, but the only thing that is different is their what they look like, but the patterns keep being the same, that you're either attracting people that don't want to commit, or you're attracting people that are too quick to commit. You're attracting people that may cheat on what you consider as cheating, like whatever. Like that's just one thing, but because normally people can pick that up a lot quicker when you start talking about the person that they're dating or people they've married or whatever, because they can see that it's a little easier. But then when they're having to dig in with inside, it's a little harder sometimes to see the patterns that you're creating because you don't want to own that truth. Or it's not that you may not be able to see the truth completely because you have some blockage there. So the next thing is, why do you keep doing them? Like, why do you keep repeating? Why do you think they keep repeating themselves? Like, what are you doing? Like, how can you change it? And for example, like one of the things that I've done this week during this happiness challenge is that I have taken the time to really create structure. Like, as I'm recording these daily, I'm testing different methods to say, okay, which process, what keep makes this simple, so it's something I don't have to think about on a daily basis, that I can just spend all my time just teaching, and then behind it takes 10-15 minutes. Like, this is how much time that I'm allotting for this. What is the quickest way? What is the easiest way? What is something that just comes natural? And it's been fun to create that. Like, I'm testing out models that work for me, for what I need. And so the old me didn't see structure like that, or didn't understand, like, okay, yes, we have a budget. And the reason we have a budget is because of this, and this. This is how much money needs to come in to cover all of this. And then, yes, with savings and investments and things like that, that's the line item right there. That's an expense too. So that's part of your monthly bills, So it's like creating structure and just not always assuming that money is always there. Because even if money is always there, there needs to be some type of structure to what it is that you're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I never seen that, and I didn't understand that, and I didn't, even though I was an accountant, I knew it may have made sense for businesses when I did do accounting work, but we just need to have that within ourselves. And so that's been the cool part of this week for me. It's just really like, okay, let's just do something that makes us happy, something that you've been fighting to do, but you love to do. Just do it and let's see what happens. Like, the other things have been working out perfectly. Why would we doubt it? And I don't doubt it, because this is day 10 and I've seen tremendous growth within me. And that only makes me more effective and more, like, I guess I can say, like, shining my light to make sure everything looks clear. Like, I am constantly looking within to make sure that I'm where I need to be able to serve my clients. So as you're thinking about this, think about what are some of the triggers that create a negative emotional response in you. Like, what are things that somebody can say, or phrases, or body language, or food, or actions, or people, or environment? Like, what does that trigger in you? Like, for me, it took me probably 40 some years to, well, I'd say about 35 years to even taste syrup again, because when I was young, we didn't always have money, so sometimes we ate a lot. I ate a lot of syrup sandwiches, and to the point that the smell of it would make me want to throw up. And it was until recently. I still won't eat a whole lot. Like, it might just be a little bit on a pancake, but I would eat pancakes and waffles. I just wouldn't put syrup on it because just the thought and the smell of it just was like, ugh. And I'm sure it wasn't the best kind. Like, now that I've tasted different variations, I'm like, oh, this is nice. But anyway, that was a trigger for me. So identify what your triggers are. There may be certain phrases that people can say that just, but it's why. What emotion or what memory do you have attached to that? And does it make sense in the life that you're living now? And then think of the triggers, the complete opposite of triggers of things that you hear, see, smell, think, taste, and what positive memories and emotions show up. Like, everything's not always negative. Like, what are some of the goods? Find the good, embrace the goods. And then on the ones that are negative, figure out why they're negative, and then say, okay, what's the opposite of that? And let's do that instead. So, yeah. So, fun stuff, right? I know. So, we're not quite done. So now I want you to list 5 things you can do or think in any moment to give yourself a joy boost. So think about something that just makes you happy. And when you think about it, you're just going to smile and just feel so good. You're just going to do. So think of those 5 things. Okay. And some of the things that can help you is like, think of certain songs, places, people, memories, movies, videos. Now, when you think of those things, figure out how to make yourself joyful. Okay. So tomorrow, I want you to think of those things. And tomorrow, our subject is going to be about joy and how to get joyful and how to create joy and how to wire your body for joy. So, see you guys tomorrow. Sending you lots of love. Goodbye.